friend asked me if I wanted to go on a motorcycle ride. Now, my first inclination, of course, is to say yes. This is somebody I've been riding with for a while. When I plan motorcycle rides, they tend to be overly optimistic, really just overextending themselves, doing hundreds of miles in a day. First trip we ever did was about a 400-mile trip. Somebody where I'd done a 400-mile trip once or twice before, but he had never done one. This guy said, "Let's go to Mount Baker." I hadn't been to Mount Baker in years. I think I went once to ski, and it was a long time ago. I think I was a kid. I took a look at the map and saw 180-degree turns that are just right back and forth with each other, and it looked like heaven. It looked amazing. There are certain people that you ride well with, and there's certain people that you're learning to ride with, and there's certain people you do not ride well with. What do I mean by that? People that have driven in a caravan before understand that there's some, general things that are just different when you're riding with a group. You want the person in the back to go first, create some space, then the person, next to them and next to them, next to them in front. It's almost like a backwards, caterpillar kind of thing. It's a lot better for motorcycles to ride in formation because they look to be about the size of a car. So when something like that happens where, you want to change lanes and you're riding with somebody, you really want to just to be as close to each other as possible and coordinate as much as possible. We both had ridden together before, so I knew kind of what to expect, and so did he. I was not disappointed. So I live in Seattle, and he lives in Seattle as well, and we just started going up I-5. Now, with motorcycling, at least for me, interstates are the most boring part. I'm not a huge fan. It's just long, straight, and boring. My feeling is if you really want to ride a good motorcycle road, it needs to be a road that was built around the Great Depression. Why do I say that? There are a lot of roads that were built around that time, and due to engineering, they didn't necessarily blast their way through the hill unless it was to go through a mountain. What that meant is all these roads were made, and they were made to go through remote areas that didn't already have something built up. And the added bonus, they curved with the hills. They went up, down, around, and went all over the place. And boy, oh boy, that is just a recipe for amazing riding. I-5 is, for the most part, straight as an arrow, several lanes, utterly boring. But if there's one thing I'd like to say about Washington, it is nice. I mean, again, I spent a lot of time in Los Angeles learning how to ride. And the roads, at least where I was, the roads that were just amazing to ride on were not that far away. Here, they have some amazing roads here in Washington, but they're just kind of far away. You have to travel 40, 50 miles before you get to one of them. And it's often worth it, but at the same time, they become day trips. It's not something you can do after work. Highway 542 goes directly east from Bellingham, and it doesn't stop until you get to the top, which, again, for somebody like me that doesn't do GPS on their bike and all that kind of stuff, it's really simple just to not have the distraction and just ride. We get to the top, and I am just absolutely ecstatic. There's tons of hiking around here. Why have I never been back to this place since I was a kid? It looks amazing. Now, I'd seen something in New Zealand where he had one of those cameras that did the 360 thing, and then he put it on the back of his bike. I guess where I'm trying to go with this is I speak a lot about the love that I have for riding motorcycles. I keep wanting to bring people in closer to what it is for me to ride them and what I enjoy about them. My hope is that I can really just kind of get people into what I'm thinking about while it's going on, what it looks like to me when I'm riding. To do this in a way that's safe for other people, that maybe makes them curious about it a little bit too. In this case, it's not necessarily about if it's a gas bike or an electric bike. It's more just about if this inspires you to go to other roads, and things like that's kind of the entire purpose.